If your belly bloats every single day after 40, do you actually know what your body is trying to tell you? Yes, it's uncomfortable. You know that already. You've probably tried cutting out foods, drinking more water, taking probiotics, and it keeps coming back. But here's what nobody tells you. Daily bloating after 40 is one of the most misread signals the female body sends. And if you keep treating it as a digestion problem, which most women do, you could be missing what your hormones, your gut, and your liver have been trying to say for years. So why does your belly bloat every day after 40? Most women go straight to food. Maybe it's gluten or dairy.
Or that salad at lunch. So they start eliminating one food at a time. And the bloating? Still there. But here's the thing. Your digestive system didn't suddenly become weak. You didn't develop new allergies out of nowhere. Something else shifted first. Think of your gut as a city with a very complex infrastructure. Roads, power lines, drainage systems, communication towers. When the city is managed well, everything flows. When one system breaks down, the whole city feels it. After 40, the management system changes, and the manager is your hormones. Bloating isn't a food problem. It's a communication problem. Your gut is the most hormone-sensitive organ in your body. It has more hormone receptors than almost any other system. When estrogen, progesterone, and cortisol shift, as they do dramatically in your 40s, your gut feels it first, and it speaks up the only way it knows how.
Those years of cutting out food after food, wondering what you did wrong, blaming yourself for not eating perfectly. None of that was the real problem. Your gut wasn't failing you. It was responding to a hormonal environment that nobody ever helped you understand. And by the way, if your bloating happens at the same time every day, pay attention to that pattern. We're going to decode exactly what that timing means at the end, and it's something most women have never been told. Most women think of estrogen as a reproductive hormone, something that affects periods, fertility, menopause, not something that lives in the gut. But here's what most people don't realize. There is a community of bacteria living in your gut whose entire job is to manage your estrogen.
Scientists call it the estrobolome, and it's one of the most important things no one ever told you about your own body. These bacteria produce an enzyme that recycles estrogen, deciding how much your body keeps and how much it eliminates. When the estrobolome is healthy, estrogen is balanced. When it's disrupted by stress, antibiotics, poor diet, aging, estrogen metabolism goes wrong. Too much estrogen recirculates, or not enough. Either way, the gut responds with inflammation, and inflammation in the gut looks like bloating. Researchers at Harvard Medical School found that the diversity of gut bacteria in women declines significantly during perimenopause. At exactly the same time, bloating increases. This is not a coincidence. This is biology trying to get your attention.
That bloated belly you've been embarrassed about, hiding under loose clothes, blaming on the wrong foods, it was your gut hormone system asking for support in the only language it has. And hey, if this is already explaining something you felt but could never put into words, hit that like button and subscribe. Here's something that surprises almost every woman I share this with. Your gut has its own nervous system. Scientists call it the enteric nervous system. Some call it the second brain. It contains more nerve cells than your spinal cord. And it is in constant, direct communication with the brain in your skull, back and forth. Now, here's where it gets important for you. When cortisol, your stress hormone, rises, it travels directly along this gut-brain highway and lands in your intestines. It slows digestion. It changes the balance of gut bacteria. It increases gut permeability, what some call leaky gut. And it triggers the immune cells lining your intestines to release inflammatory signals. All of this creates gas, water retention, and bloating before you've eaten a single thing. After 40, as progesterone declines, your cortisol regulation becomes less efficient. You feel stress more acutely. Your gut feels it too. This is why so many women over 40 wake up bloated before they've touched food. By the time breakfast arrives, the cortisol has already set the stage.
This means the bloating you experience during stressful weeks, difficult seasons, moments of grief, it wasn't in your head. It wasn't because you ate badly. Your gut was absorbing what your mind was going through. It always has been. Most women track what they eat when they bloat, but almost no one tracks when. And the timing is everything, because different systems create bloating at different times of day. And once you know the pattern, your belly starts to make a very different kind of sense. Morning bloating. Waking up already puffy, tight, uncomfortable. This is rarely about food from the night before. This is almost always your liver and cortisol. Your liver is still processing hormone metabolites from the night. Your cortisol is already elevated before you've opened your eyes. The gut is inflamed before the day has started.
Mid-morning to afternoon bloating, worse after eating, even light meals. This points to low stomach acid and digestive enzyme deficiency, both of which decline significantly after 40. Food isn't being broken down properly. Undigested food ferments in the gut, and fermentation creates gas. Evening bloating, the kind that builds through the day until you look 6 months pregnant by dinner. This is typically a combination of accumulated cortisol, poor gut motility, and estrogen metabolites that haven't been cleared. Your belly isn't bloating randomly. It's running a schedule, and that schedule is a diagnostic. Think about this week. What time does it happen? Morning before breakfast? After lunch, even when you ate carefully? By evening, no matter what you did right? Your body has been keeping records. You just haven't known how to read them yet.
Have you ever noticed that foods you ate for decades suddenly started making you bloated after 40? Onions, garlic, beans, even certain fruits, foods that were never a problem before. Most women assume they've developed new food intolerances, but here's what's actually happening. Your gut microbiome, the community of trillions of bacteria living inside your intestines, undergoes a significant shift in your 40s. The bacteria that once helped you digest complex carbohydrates, ferment fiber, and neutralize inflammatory compounds begin to decline. New strains, less helpful ones, move in to fill the space. Foods that were once processed smoothly now reach parts of your gut they shouldn't. They ferment in the wrong place. They feed the wrong bacteria. And the result is gas, bloating, and discomfort from meals that would have been fine 10 years ago.
A landmark study in Nature Medicine found that gut microbiome diversity in women declines measurably during the menopausal transition, with specific losses in strains linked to inflammation control and hormone metabolism. You didn't become food sensitive. Your gut community changed. All those meals you started avoiding, the dinners out where you picked carefully and bloated anyway, the feeling that your body had become unpredictable and unreliable, your gut wasn't betraying you. It was going through a transition that it needed support for, not punishment. Most women think about their gut and their hormones as separate systems. Something goes wrong with hormones, that's a gynecologist. Something goes wrong with digestion, that's a gastroenterologist. Two different departments, two different problems, but inside your body, they are one system. And the organ that sits at the center of that system is the one most women never think about: the liver.
Here's how the triangle works. Your liver processes and packages used hormones for elimination. Those packaged hormones travel to your gut for excretion. Your gut bacteria, specifically the estrobolome we talked about earlier, either let those hormones leave the body or they reactivate them and send them back into circulation. When the liver is sluggish, from chronic stress, poor sleep, or dietary load, it can't package hormones efficiently. They sit and accumulate. When the gut bacteria are imbalanced, they reactivate hormones that should have left. Estrogen recirculates. The gut becomes more inflamed. Bloating worsens, and the liver, now dealing with the inflammatory signals from the gut, gets even more overloaded. The triangle keeps spinning. This is why women who address only their gut see partial results, and why women who address only their hormones still bloat. The system is connected, and it needs to be approached as one.
If you've tried everything, every probiotic, every elimination diet, every supplement, and the bloating persists, it's not because you haven't found the right food to cut. It's because a triangle was running out of balance, and no one showed you the full picture. So what does it mean when the bloating isn't occasional? When it happens every single day, regardless of what you ate or didn't eat? This is what I mentioned at the very beginning, and it's the piece that changes everything. When bloating becomes a daily pattern, your body isn't having a digestive moment. It's running a chronic signal. Daily bloating means at least one part of the triangle, liver, gut, or hormones, is consistently under stress, and the body has stopped trying to whisper. It's speaking out loud now, every single day. First, track the timing, not just the food. For 1 week, write down when your bloating appears. Morning, after meals, evening. Not what you ate, when it happens. That pattern tells you which system needs support first. Second, support the liver before the gut. Most women go straight to probiotics, but if the liver can't process and clear hormones, rebuilding gut bacteria has limited effect. Start with bitter foods, dandelion greens, arugula, lemon water in the morning. Reduce alcohol completely for 2 weeks. Eat dinner by 7 p.m. to give the liver its nighttime window. Watch what shifts. Third, address cortisol before you address food. If you are chronically stressed, your gut will remain inflamed regardless of your diet. 10 minutes of slow breathing before meals activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state. Your stomach acid increases. Your digestive enzymes release. The food you eat has a completely different effect on a calm gut than a stressed one. Women who finally understand this triangle often describe a moment of profound relief. Not because the bloating disappeared overnight, but because they stopped being confused. They stopped blaming themselves. They stopped looking for the one food that was ruining everything. And they started listening, not to a diet, to their body, which had been trying to explain this every single day. Because that belly, the one you've been hiding and resenting and trying to fix, it was never the problem. It was the messenger, and it has been waiting, patiently, every single day, for you to finally stop silencing it and start listening. So listen, learn the language, because once you do, everything changes.